media team and for this very important engagement, which I think is more of an engagement, not a question and answer. The way of solutions, I will be very happy to hear, not just asking but also providing solutions. But I thought it is also important that together with Honorable Deputy Minister Sako and Chairman Zinara, so that we engage the 40 states. I know at times you might be having questions that go unanswered, whether they come as individuals, and at times when you've got a forum to post questions. But it is the culture of the Second Republic, under the wise leadership of His Excellency Comrade Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, that we enhance servant leadership one and be accountable to the people of Zimbabwe. And the essence of you broadcasting this kind of a forum is to then also address concerns of the citizen, where you pose very pertinent questions that must be addressed, and also allay fears to the citizens that they are going to be left behind in terms of infrastructure development. So let us be free. We engage in this dialogue, and also make sure that you have a constituents that you also represent in terms of broadcasting. But like I always say, that we are ambassadors as the 40th state. And why it is also very important, it also, why is the 40th state, you know what the three arms of the state, the judicial, executive, and the legislature, and the 40th state yourselves. So it's an architecture of us engaging to the citizenry, not the perception that the media is there to interrogate and also report negatively, which I don't think it is what the media is there for. So it is important that we then showcase, we broadcast, we market our country, and in times I always say to my colleagues that something that is of negative impact is tends to go viral. Well, but when something is nice, then even media, the print media, you see Freeman akanyora kuti pa front page kuza mwana mari, but kana mwana akitwa kanobva anopinzwa page 10 kareka small irikanza akuite. So this is the kind of reporting that we are talking about. Say, let's showcase what is being done by the Second Republic. We market our country ourselves because we live in it, and it is our country. So at the end of the day, the onus is on us to make sure that whatever we broadcast will give impetus to the nation. And you find those who are outside the borders, they are interested in the negative news. But we are there to protect our own country. And this is the platform where we share, where we also need to be frank, where we also need to articulate issues as they are. So I want you to be free, pose questions. It's not like a cabinet briefing where for 3 questions and then today we are going to engage, and then this is your time, feel free. I know it might be very difficult to start, but when someone starts, then it becomes a build fire thereafter. But I believe we'll engage, have time to engage, we're to adjourn our meeting so that we're going to accommodate you and also make sure that you also attend to other business after this important meeting. So over to you, my good friends. Solutions. You've raised a very pertinent question. But what I want to hasten to say is the kind of a scenario that we have in our country. You cannot find it elsewhere. In terms of infrastructure rehabilitation, one, we know is capital intensive. If you're talking of a road, on average, global average, $1 million a kilometer. That is of a reconstructed road. So you can imagine the road network that we have in Zimbabwe, the entire close to 90,000 kilometers. Yes, some are dust roads, which are also in our rural constituencies. But we are saying under other jurisdictions, you find that there are players who they come to support, and you just need to appear to the financiers, where you get concessionary facilities, with grace period that is quite flexible, and you tap into that fund, you rehabilitate, you acquit yourselves, and then you tap into new funding. But if you then come to our country, why we are saying the legal sanctions imposed on our country must be removed unconditionally, it is because it will then impact on such kind of projects that we are talking about, the infrastructure development. So you find that in such a predicament, you then need to resort to the fiscus. But whenever you talk of fiscus, there are other emerging competing factors that you then see, like the advent of the El Nino-induced drought that we're witnessing as a country, whereby government has to prioritize those other competing factors. So you find that in terms of us now administering to infrastructure, it therefore calls for the ministry to think outside the box. But I want to thank our great leader, Comrade Dr. Mhona, who then said, yes, our roads are in a sorry state, we cannot continue watching. Some are under the purview of local authorities, some are under the purview of other road authorities. But we now need to take ownership of our roads. But vis-a-vis meager resources that we have as a nation. And you have seen that with the advent of the Emergency Road Rehabilitation Program 2, we started in 2021 under SI 147 of 2021, which has now been extended to 2026 December to cater for such emergencies. And we have seen that, yes, under such very difficult circumstances, we are managing as government to tap into the fiscus. And now I'm happy that we've got Zinara, which is also an agency there to collect this base and make sure that we attend to our roads. So to address your question, Owen, yes, there was an article which went viral and which we disputed as a ministry to say surely one cannot sit in a pothole and then start reporting that it's Zimbabwe. And nothing to relate to Zimbabwe and then just pick a road and decide that is. And we agreed that our road is in a sorry state. We didn't deny that. But not to exaggerate, to Photoshop and exaggerate to actually portray an image that we don't have roads. Which is like something that I said, it is the onus of the fourth estate to correct and address such anomalies. But also to the people of Zimbabwe to say, this is a road that we are talking about, the Victoria Falls, which actually starts from Beitbridge and it goes up to Bulawayo and Bulawayo to Vic Falls. And I even highlighted on a separate forum that this road was constructed in 1941. So you can imagine. And when you were not even, your parents were not even there to, maybe your grandfather then was there during the 1941. And you can imagine that this is the kind of a road that we are talking about. And the purpose of us attending to roads is to make sure that we rehabilitate every 5 years, we continue reselling, upgrading. But if we then decide to neglect our roads, which is something that we cannot continue pointing fingers, but I want to thank, with the advent of the Second Republic in 2017-2018, where His Excellency Comrade Dr. Mhona took a deliberate approach to say we now need to build our own country with his mantra that then he started to say we need trafficability on our roads, which is an economic enabler, where we need to attend to our roads. We need also to attend to our railway lines, also manage the space. Precisely, this is the journey that we started. But you cannot continue to say, surely 760 kilometers can be rehabilitated in 1 year. It's not possible because of the challenging issues that I've alluded to, where you also need to factor in other competing factors. But I'm happy that we then identified a triple P arrangement, which the Honorable Deputy Minister here addressed in Senate, to say yes, the triple P, but you know there are formalities. When there is a triple P arrangement, we've got a contractor who expresses interest, and after that we interrogate together with the triple P, a committee which comprises finance, ZIDA, and other players, and with the line ministry in particular, where you then need to make sure that you go through the financial clause and make sure that whatever you're going to partake in the construction of that road, everyone is happy in terms of business, making business sense to the contractor and also fair to government. So the process might take long, but we are not waiting. What we have identified, we've scoped our road. And we know that out of the 760 kilometers, almost 200 kilometers is beyond pothole patching, which therefore calls for complete reconstruction. And this is what we are going to be doing, and I'm happy as we speak. And on the 4th of April, we are going to do a tour, which again I will invite 4th Estate with other ministers. We're going to take a tour, not just to sightsee, but to see real work being done, where we are going to be seeing certain sections being reclaimed and also other sections being attended to. So the idea behind this, we are going to attack it from two ends, where we are going to attend to damaged sections first, whilst the Triple P arrangement is progressing, so that as they do the financial close, we then attend to the entire road. But now we attend to the bad sections that are damaged, we reclaim and make the road trafficable. By trafficable, there are certain areas that we also need to page whilst we are waiting for the bigger picture of funding. So to answer your question, Owen, the funding for the entire road has been structured, one, to attend to the damaged sections, and we are working closely with Zinara, and we are ready to do that. The funding has been availed, and whilst we are waiting for the arrangement of the Triple P arrangement, where the contractor is now seized with the feasibility studies to just scope the entire road. And I'm sure in terms of the timelines, this is what we are going to be working this current year on the 200 kilometers that is damaged. And then as we progress into 2026, we'll tap into the Triple P benefits. And then you'll see, and the contractor has said, within a period of 36 months, the entire road section will be done. That is after we've attended these sections. So this is something, again, that calls for patience to the people of Zimbabwe. Yes, we might want the road to be done overnight, but there are also due processes. But we also need to see that it is not the only road. We also highlighted another road, to say Chirundi. Why these roads are important? These are triangles, which was the mandate of the ministry to attend to triangles. But we actually witnessed that over the past 20 years, we were political grandstanding, whilst local authorities were not rehabilitating roads. And the one is now on the government to rehabilitate such roads, where we are seeing that instead of us saying local authorities must attend to their roads, we have taken that task as Minister of Transport to say we cannot continue looking. We don't have roads even in our neighborhood, in our locations where we are coming from. So you see that it is also another mandate that we need to superintend over such roads. So you've seen that now the strategy of the ministry is to attend to our trunk roads, which will then connect with other neighboring countries. And you witness the North-South corridor and the Beira corridor, where we are connecting with other countries. So you see ourselves attending to. And I'm happy again to say we are completing the Beitbridge-Harare section. We are left with about 88 kilometers, but already contractors have started mobilizing again back to site. And as we speak, they are attending to their sections. So we assure the people of Zimbabwe that come this year, and the road will be complete with all the bridges. We are talking of bridges across rivers, bridges over rail. We've got 2 on that particular stretch. We've got also mini interchanges. If we talk of Rothmans and the ZBC, where we are going to be having mini interchanges. And above all, the good news about the Trabablas, which some people, those naysayers, were saying it's not going to come to fruition, and they thought it was a roundabout. But we are talking of 15 bridges. And you'll see for yourselves, where we've earmarked and say to the contractor, come the 31st of May, that project must be complete. And I'm sure you need also to, someone was going to ask to say, when are you going to complete? So we've given the contractor that by 31st May, that interchange must be done. And we are happy that last week we had a tour with my team, and we were actually excited what we witnessed. We did invite the 4th Estate. So we want to take you there, and you have seen it right from the foundations. We've been monitoring the project together. So you see that this is also one of our flagship projects. So the entire stretch will be complete, and then we start progressing to Chirundu. So in terms of Chirundu, already we are working on a finance arrangement so that we do the entire 352 kilometers right up to the border post, and also rehabilitate Chirundu border post. And actually you witnessed that with JICA, which was working on the Makuti section, but also the contractor is mobilized back to site, where is also going to be working on that portion. And maybe that this is what we are doing now. And you see that we'll synchronize the operations, the border, and the road, which is also something that we'll do in 24 months in terms of completion of the Chirundu highway. And not only that, we are talking of the gateways. I know somebody was going to maybe ask about the Chirundu, where we've got another triple P. The idea of these arrangements, the public-private partnership arrangement, will also lessen the burden from the fiscus. So you see us attending again to the Nyamapanda border post, and also Kanyemba border post and the road. And also my central, we've got the Ndoda Ondo to Mukumbura, the road that has been also topical, and that we're discussing with my provincial road engineers. Will be attending. Not to say that the roads that I haven't mentioned are not important, but I was just synchronizing. And also as you go to the east, we are continuing with the dualization, and also we are going to be working on the bypass, which is the Christmas Pass bypass. We've now concluded the finance architecture of that road. So I thought maybe I'll just give an overview of some of these trunk roads, but not to say those that I haven't mentioned are not important. And also to move to my brother Yotam, you talked about the Harare Drive Kipling. You saw last year we started on that as to decongest the Namakone road, where we are saying at the end of the day, that connectivity, it starts right from Trabablas, Highglen, it comes to Kowazana. We are going to be having a mini interchange again. It goes into Kickman, then Kickman into Harare Drive. So that road will then be used by those going northbound traffic, Chirundu, so that instead of connecting now with Harare Beitbridge, as you then progress toward the great city, Nemakonde turn into Harare Drive, Kickman, Highglen, up to Harare Beitbridge Road. But the idea behind is for us to scope, which is something that I'm grateful about. That as a ministry, we have a dashboard where we need also to start planning our roads, so that as much as we are working on this road, we must take cognizance of the fact that we also need to link it to this particular road. So you see that the Harare, also the Harare Drive, with the missing link that we opened, which actually comes from Moton Park. And we are saying again yet another publication to say people who are settled in retreat area that have occupied the road servitude. I'm sure again appealing to such those who have actually constructed their houses along, they know it. And we are going to continue with the project from Moton Park through Waterfalls, retreat area, to finish on the Harare Ring Road. So this is something again that we are also doing. But in terms of Kickman, you've seen that in terms of widening it, we are also going to be widening the road. And also the Harare Drive, we are also going to be widening the road. And as it actually moves from Trabablas, we are also going to be widening, dualize the section up to Wazana roundabout. My sister Sita, a transportation system. Once again, the Second Republic, the whole of government approach. You know, when you talk of transportation system, we know it is under the purview of the local authorities. But again, nothing is happening. So there is no way we can also sit and watch. We also need to bring sanity back to our cities, where you are seeing that Kombi drivers, even the Kombi operators are just saving their cars on the roads without proper documentation. So we are collaborating with our road motor transportation in the ministry, together with the ministry and also local government, so that we bring sanity back to our roads. And obviously the enforcement element coming from Home Affairs, where we are saying, yes, this is the status quo, but we want to have bigger, in terms of transportation, mode of transport at the end of the day, where we've got dedicated lines like you indicated, how we then separate from haulage buses, where we are going to be having dedicated lanes of buses, so that in terms of trafficability it becomes easier, even also to carry large numbers. And above all, to have trams. In other countries, you see trams within the cities, where we are also working closely with NRZ, Mutapa Investment, so that we also make sure that our cities, we have these trams and the dedicated, the Chitungwiza that you are hearing. We are also finalizing on the Chitungwiza Harare railway line. And again, there are some people who have settled along the railway line servitude. And we are appealing to those people to start moving so that they pave way to this very important project. So in terms of separation again, you see that the idea of a Harare ring road is to then say trucks that are actually coming into Harare will not get into the great city. They will take advantage of the ring road. That is the essence of the ring road. And we are going to enforce, in terms of restrictions, the tonnage that will allow to pass through our great city, so as to also not damage our roads. So the element of enforcement, working closely with Home Affairs, and also through our VID, you will see us manning the roads, again VID and also RMT, which is the Road Motor Transportation Department, making sure that we bring sanity to our roads. But I thought maybe if I missed something, in a nutshell, this is what we are doing. Thank you so much. We proceed. For is a very important question, which is also very topical. And you find that in another forum, we might be having a debate to say we used to collect, and Zenara have taken our collection aspect in terms of revenue, but we've seen for ourselves the Commission of Inquiry that we cannot preempt their findings. But what we've seen so far in the public domain, where they were getting salaries 30,000 or so, so we're wondering to say, Zenara have been disbursing funding towards such projects. But alas, people were then diverting to have such funding to other uses that they deem fit, not to the earmarked projects. So you've seen that for the past 20 years, again to the people of Zimbabwe, that at times development is for us Zimbabweans. And this is true. Where roads have been neglected, urban roads, some of us would go in the locations where roads were attended to, especially after rain season. You would see that even roads would be graded, the asphalt overlay. Something was happening, but there was nothing in terms of road rehabilitation. And to see some of these reclaimers is now with the advent of the Second Republic. But this was the mandate of local authorities to make sure that they attend to. And the debate was, we are not getting anything from Zenara. So we then agreed with the chairman and team to say we need to broadcast quarterly what you are giving to the local authorities. And they started doing that. And the other thing was, now maybe it's inadequate, and they were saying we are not getting anything. So the discourse now is to say whatever they are getting, how are they actually attributing it towards road project development or maintenance? They are not doing that. So again, because of the wise counsel of His Excellency, said no, we need to make sure that we take over the roads, maintain and also give them. But the problem now, even if we give them a rehabilitated road, they cannot continue maintaining. So we've taken a deliberate approach again with Zenara. So you'll see us, and very soon we are identifying roads that are actually coming from the great city to our communities. And we are actually getting into the communities, the locations that you know. So number one, that is also for the media now to actually capture. We said we are now moving. We know that Willowville, not to say that is one of the most important roads, but we are earmarking Willowville Road, where we are going to take it from Rothmans. Why Rothmans? Because we are rehabilitating. The contractor is moving towards Wharton Park, towards ZBC, Ambari. So we are taking the Willowville Road from the junction of Harare Beitbridge Road, which is Simon Mazoroze, Willowville. We take it past Highfield, right to Glenview, deep to Budiriro, and to Glenview 1. Yeah. So, why we are doing this now? We know we've covered Highfields, we've covered Glenview Area 8, the busy complex where there is the furniture project there. We've got Glenview 3 on the left, Budiriro on the right, Budiriro 1, Budiriro 2. Would have covered a number. But we are not just ending there. We are also saying we have got shorter roads. And shorter roads, even if you then take from Highland Road, we've got Gumbi, which is Zambezi Road, which starts from Police Spaceman Glenora A. It goes through Chitubu, right into Amalinda, the Amalinda that we are also doing now. So you see now, this is kind of a synchronization that we are doing to make sure that we don't have roads to talk about, the areas that I'm talking about. We also come into Mbari, right into Mbari. We are also going to be rehabilitating roads entirely, but we cannot do all roads at once. So this is a staggered approach that we are taking. And from there, we have also identified Lighton Road as we then go through Kambuzuma. We also go through right into Mfakosi Muriimwe, right at the end. So we are doing these roads so that we make sure that public roads that we see our commuter omnibus on a daily basis are trafficable. So this is something that we are doing to make sure that we cannot say City of Harare is going to rehabilitate these roads. And we've said to Zinara, let's create funding. And what I'm talking about is not a promise. This is something that we are going to be implementing so that we start rehabilitating our roads. But this is because of the guidance of our president. We said we cannot watch our people suffering, having roads that are not trafficable, communities that are not connected. So we want to thank him for championing the issues to do with road development in our country. Thank you so much. Sita, second part. Once again, Sita, the Beitbridge-Bulawayo Road. I'm sure it was topical, and one thing that I like about us Zimbabweans, when something goes viral, when it is attended, it then go quiet. And I wish the same energy and vigor could be demonstrated when something has been done, to also try to have a balanced view of your story. Where the Bulawayo and Kai, someone was articulating that from 1980 we're doing 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers because we've been doing. But what we've done again, there are some roads in terms of traffic count, the justification for a partner to work on that particular. At times if you do the traffic count, it might not justify the business sense at the end of the day. So these are some of the projects that we then do under the ministry funding from the fiscals. So I'm happy that we've dedicated the first 20 kilometers now that we're working on, and the contractor is on site. We are gravitating towards the Kai Business Center, and whilst we are working for the bigger picture, but we've said let's do 20 kilometers. When we're done, we'll also move to another 20 kilometers. So you see that road within 2.5 years would have done right up to Kai. But we thought that was the desired stance of the ministry. But we want to thank God again. The partnership arrangement that we are actually necessitating at the end of the day in the ministry, where we have seen that for us to then move with speed, we partner, private player, and I'm happy that the private player who is doing the Kwekwe Slobela, it's Kwekwe but it passes through Slobela. Kwekwe Slobela and Kai Gopani. That entire stretch, about 241 or so kilometers, where we are saying we are going to rehabilitate that road, and the same contractor is going now to carry over from the section that we are working on the Kai, right into Kai. So it's going to be quicker now. Instead of the 2.5 years that we are talking about, we are saying by the end of next year or so, we'll be done with the entire stretch of the Bulawayo and Kai road. So it's something that is exciting the ministry, such kind of initiatives that we are having. So we'll be having connectivity from Bulawayo to Kai. And if you are coming from Kwekwe, instead of, it will also shorten the distance to those who are going to Vic Falls. So you find that in terms of decongesting our road, this is something that we are working on, and this is a finance arrangement. And the contractor who was working on the Shurubi Mandamabwe is the one who is also working on the Kwekwe-Kai Lupani and also Bulawayo Kai. And you can imagine the same contractor who was supposed to work on a 43-kilometer stretch in 12 months. In 7 months it was done. So you can imagine the speed. And in terms of not only the speed, but the workmanship thereafter. So you see, this is what we are saying at the end of the day. This kind of an arrangement will then lessen the burden from fiscus. And then Treasury will stagger payments. Not necessarily to fund the entire road at once, but will stagger the payments over a certain period of time. So this is what we are doing. And again, to the people of Bulawayo Kai, to be rest assured that we are continuing. It's no longer a talk show. Yes, comrade, right?
Yes.
Another person. Yes, comrade Fred.
Yeah, mine are based on the development so far of last year. We had there was a feasibility study that was being carried out in terms of the new airport in Interstate District. What is the progress now? And then in terms of turning Charles Prince Airport into an international airport, and also the road that is said to be constructed in terms of bypassing the Christmas pass. What is the progress now?
Thank you so much. Brother Brighton, what you are seeing flying in Zimbabwean colors is owned by the government of Zimbabwe. That answers you. Is that? So if you see our colors in the sky, it is the government of Zimbabwe that owns. But I understand where you are coming from. I'm sure it's something that was also interrogated. And you know that, yes, NRZ, from a structure perspective, is under the purview of Mutapa Investment, but we still have the policy issues from the ministry. And we've also been pushing to make sure that we resuscitate our railway line. As you know, that under normal circumstances, the tonnage that is being moved through our roads is supposed to be redirected to the railway line. And I'm happy that working closely with Mutapa, where we are actually looking for a funding. And you heard from the China Railways, they were here last year, where we were working on a project to resuscitate, maintain, and provide a rolling stock. So this is precisely what Mutapa is following, rehabilitating the road, the railway network, which is close to about 2.7 kilometers, and we are saying, which is 2,700, and we are saying in terms of the cautious, the damaged section, which is about 9.9 of the bad sections, that you know is potholes when you are talking of roads. So the funding will cater for the infrastructure rehabilitation, one, and then we'll also cater for the rolling stock. So there is a 500 million earmarked for that project, which should then cater for the rehabilitation of the railway line and also the procurement of the rolling stock. But the idea behind is to say, yes, we also have mining companies where we are thinking outside the box as a ministry to say we need to come up with a policy to, yes, it can be through moral suasion, but they need a policy in place to make sure that those mining companies, they must be connected to the sidings, railway sidings. So if you are mining your products, you need to move to the next railway siding and make sure that whatever you produce comes on the railway line, then is transported. So this is an exercise working closely again with the Minister of Mines, so that we engage our mining companies so that they connect to the railway siding and make sure that they also fund, and we agree on the structure. If they fund the project, how can they recoup their investment at the end of the day? But I want to thank you for raising that yes, without us resuscitating our railway line, we'll continue facing this mammoth task of us having damaged roads. Yes, Freeman, oh yeah, I know that Shumba is an interested part of Manikale. Freeman, thank you so much for. Yes, Brother Freeman, you were talking about Mutasa. You also talked about Charles Springs. You also talked about Christmas Pass. Yes, we visited the Manicaland province last year again, where we identified the new site. And I'm happy that the same contractor who was working on the RGM International Airport is pursuing, and studies are ongoing on the Mutasa new site of the airport, where we're also going to be linking it with the Mutasa city, construct a road directly to the new airport site. And I'm happy that as we are speaking, they are engaging, and also to come up with a package so that we don't burden the fiscus. But I cannot preempt now on the package of that funding, but this is what we are working, so that we also have a project that will start just the way we did on the RGM International Airport, so that we have a complete package where we start working and then complete that project. And it's ongoing. The good thing about that airport, we are talking of the produce, the fresh produce, even Manicaland, where we are also trying to come up with a hub within the region, so that we know that in terms of cargo, it can also specialize in terms of cargo. Yes, in terms of being a tourist center, the Eastern Highlands, but it would leverage on the issues to do with cargo. So this is how we are also going to pay attention to that. But the great thing about the Charles Springs, the vision of our great leader, Comrade Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, is to have a bigger airport in the country, not the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport. We are intending to use that one as a domestic airport. The bigger airport, you will see it. Why the bigger? In terms of expansion, if you talk of runways, we don't have space now at the RGM in terms of expansion, where we've got residential areas within the precincts of the airport. We are saying there will be having additional runways, and already the Minister of Lands has earmarked the land for the expansion project. And from there, we'll be having a direct road linking the Parliament of Zimbabwe to the Charles Springs. So in terms of procuring, the land is there. And once again, the issues of feasibility studies is what we are doing. But this is going to be our hub within the region, where we also have people connecting to the other destinations from Zimbabwe. Strategically, we are better placed in the region. And you see that in terms of distance, it might be shorter to actually start from Zim to various destinations. So this is a project that we are also running with. It's on our dashboard again as a ministry. And in terms of the Christmas Pass bypass, good to say this is something that has been on the cards again, but now we've come to the end. I've got my team, we're also deliberating on that, where you see, and I'm sure by end of next month, which is April, your mobilization to site will have started on the Christmas Pass bypass, working on the 33-kilometer road. And you see that the contractor said within 12 months, that entire road will be completed. So this is regarding the issues of Christmas Pass bypass. Thank you so much. So I'm not. The good thing about that target, you have raised a very important question, Owen. But if you have seen that yesterday or so, not yesterday, was a Sunday, we flighted we actually gazetted that we are going to be relocating the East Bank target. We want to have one which is targeting the Pindura traffic and the one for Shamba. So this is the process that we've started, relocating the target. But now, to actually protect our Bolivar road, which goes straight, that's a restricted area, Parliament. So we are in the process for NSI, and I'm sure is being interrogated by the AG, where we are going to restrict tonnage so that you don't use that road. Not necessarily that, but it's a restricted area. It's going straight into Parliament, and you cannot just use that road if you actually exceed certain tonnage. So this is what we are doing in the interim to make sure that we restrict tonnage to use that boulevard, and also the notorious motorists. Not to say motorists are notorious, but we've got those shikas trying to. We also want good roads, but at the end of the day, we are also bypassing targets, and we demand good roads at the end of the day. So it's a humble plea again to the people of Zimbabwe. Yes, you might be having some roads that you think will evade you passing through designated points, but we appeal again to say, what you then pay is what we then dedicate to our roads. So again, humble plea, it's not only this target, but there are also other targets where people are creating other fictitious routes so as to bypass our targets. It's an appeal again to say this is the kind of funding that we are also relying on, which we must also support. So similarly, with this kind of infrastructure that we have, yes, we've started the process of relocating, which is also a good thing again, where we're supposed to relocate to was it before, what was the area before, the initial area? Anderson Research. We're supposed to move it to Anderson Research. But again, people were appealing to say, no, Mazoe area, or why can't you then move it? We then said, let's have the target after Mazoe, and I'm sure everyone is happy around that area, which is something that we worked on, also listen to the stakeholders. So we think that after having relocated that, the issues of bypassing will no longer be the case. But again, to safeguarding our road, the road restriction will then impact on those who wanted to use it before. Zvinotaurwa naPresident Baba Munangagwa kuti nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. Pane pekungotaura ndopatatu kuti masolutions tambe tiri kuonesana nemaengineers imomo tikati ichokwadi pane vamwe vanogona kuva nekahomwe kavo tinongoti munogara muraini rinenge rine kana zvinhambo zvinoita kana 100 mamita 100 mongoti haisusu taunganidza zvatawana izvi ministry ingava ikatibatsirawo here kuti tigadzire mugwagwa wedu ndekuti mugwagwa ndewenyu hongu munenge muchiti pamutabhadhara mari tadii asi tikutaura kuchivaka nyika sevanhu vamwe chete veZimbabwe. Tikatambozvitsvaga izvozvo tikatowirirana mudare ratichasimudzira ratachitaura nemainjiniya tikati zvakanaka kuti kana taonawo vanhu vakadaro vekushanda nesu tine bandiko redu rinonzi Department of Roads. Chakanakira Department of Roads harisi rekuti tazonotsvaga vamwe vanhu vachavaya vachisevenza. Pane anonzi maintenance units ataakumutsaya anenge aine zvese zvinogadzira mugwagwa, saka zvichatibatsira kuti hatiende kunotsvaga contractor wokunze. Tikaonawo vanhu vakadaro vaunganidza zvavaunganidza kuti mukatibatsirawo here kuuya kuno, tingade kana grader, tingade kana paver muenzaniso, taunganidza tara yedu panapa tinouya katiisa musoro pamwe chete ndokuvaka nyika kwacho. Saka muchaona tikadaro kune mumwe anogona kuti haisisu road yedu kaclose, tangadaro tichaenda tichitovaka nyika kuchana kushana. Asi mataura zvakanaka kuti isu tichabatsira makanzuro edu aya nezidaro. Ndosaka maona takutotanga kuvatsvagira maroads. Tinosvika semuguta semuenzasi wamapa tongoti kana muGlenora muye toti muGlenora mune migwagwa inoita 15 km muenzaniso Glenora yese chiverenga maraini anenge akangosiyana tobva tati taakugadzira Glenora yese 15 km. Toziva kuti gore rino tiri kutarisa Glenora muenzaniso tobva tagadzira mugwagwa tosiya Glenora yaitsva tabatsira chikanzuro taakuenda Warren Park muenzaniso ndokutovaka kwatinoita. Ende ichokwadi tikasaita zvatataura izvi muchaona kuti migwagwa yedu inenge yakapera zvose, ende mizhinji yacho haina mbobvira yakazogadzirwa kupera payakangori. Saka tikuti isu zvichatibatsira muono wamaona iwoyo ndo mafungira atatu kuita seministry. Tichabvunza vekutanga vanokwanisawo vanogara munzvimbo dzatataura idzi vanenge vaunganidza zvavaunganidza vachida kubatana pamwe chete neministry toshanda pamwe chete. Tichabatsira zvakare malocal authorities taona kuti vasire basa iro vega vakundikana. Saka president vari kuti ngatichiisa misoro pamwe chete tivaudze kuti tichatanga project iyi topedza tobuda muguta iri topedza. Saka muchaona tikadaro hongu hatingamuke hedu maguta edu ese ave matsva nenguva imwe chete asi zvichatibatsira tinotenda. Ndikasasimuka panoramba inomuka ini saka nditendera kuti zvaita here macomrades. Yes madam. Zita ndakangana. Oh, thank you. Urongwa uyu wataitotaura uyu manzwa ichitezve zvinoda kutopinda munzvimbo yeGreenview wandataura uyu chairman ndosa chigaro nevanenge vanonzi akuru amupingo unovaziva ndo ava CEO ndo vanenge vakaita sei vakatobatsira. Saka zvatikutotaura izvi zviri kutobva zvatoita sei tatongoenda ndo zvavatovinga kuti vanzi kuzvichemo. Saka zvatataura izvi zvema local authorities takutovaitira basa through zinara. Saka zvinhu zvekuti patangu identify iko zvino chimwe chatoda kutanga kutaura ndechekuti mukaona kana muguta redu Harare tikabva kuna second nako pamenza ngatitangirei kuna Prince Edward tichiuya marodhi edu ari kukatani kusvika kuna Idim Nangako pane tumarodhi tungodai kuti tichikrosa kuti kwamunogona hatichafambika ameno kana muchimbofambawo nemamwe anenge achikrosa. Saka muchaona kuti tinogona kutora 10 kilometers dzenetwork yeGreat Harare tobva tatongobuda. Saka ndo immediately ndo zvimwe zvamuchaona tichiita marodzi aya tobva tatobuda totoziva kuti munhu akakwanisa kufamba akati ada kupinda nemuna third ada kudii mamwe acho anga amboitwa asara panzira zvaifanira kunge zvichiitwa necouncil asi havasisina capacity kwete kuti havasisina vakafunga kuita zvimwe zvisiri zvekugadzira mugwagwa vachidya mari yevana veZimbabwe. Saka isu tauya nekuti tine mutungamiri anoteerera kuti ngatichiendai tinopedzisa basa rakatadzirwa kuitira kuti ramangwana vanhu vedu vagare zvakanaka tisvike kuvision 2030 ndoya mune mchinzwa yenyu hatingasvike tiri mumugwagwa yakadai sei. Saka tinotenda. Yes.
Asi zinare yazondogara zvinhu